Hi, everybody. Doug Jenkins with the Findlay-Hancock County Chamber of Commerce, along with Cole of International Bancard. Another video for our educational series on our YouTube channel as we try and help small businesses improve their efficiencies, find different ways to lower their bottom line and move forward, especially through the current realities and environment that we're in. Ann is here today to talk to us all about how making the most out of your credit card processing can be a big benefit. Ann, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
So Ann came fully prepared. We have a PowerPoint presentation to go through with you today. But Ann, before we even get into that, let's just talk a little bit about why this is such an important thing for businesses to take a look at this time of year.
Absolutely. Well, consumers, like with everything else, COVID has affected just about everything in our lives. And consumers are still very concerned with that. And it's fundamentally changed the way that they shop. In some cases, it's because they fear COVID. Other cases, it's because regulations and guidelines have simply limited the way they can shop. So all of that has led consumers to change their habits quickly instead of, over a period of time. Merchants are struggling to keep up because so much has changed so quickly. But those who are embracing technology and doing things like curbside pickup and online ordering and boosting up their website for e-commerce, paying attention to their online profile, and offering contactless payments are doing well, even thriving. Those who aren't are having a tough time right now, and they're going to have a very challenging holiday season.
We certainly don't want that for our area businesses. So let's get into our PowerPoint here. And I'll just move it along, and you tell me when you want me to move the slides, and I'll have some questions for you throughout. But let's talk about this changing landscape.
Okay, that sounds good. Well, we did a recent study that concluded, U.S. consumers, as I said, are changing the way they spend and how they do that because of, COVID-19. The data shows a very clear pattern, of where and how they make purchases, including choosing their payment method when they do so. We're finding that cash payments overall are trending down. Consumers are more likely to shop at businesses who offer online or contactless payments. And many consumers say they have permanently changed the way they do things when it comes to, purchases.
I think that's a good point, and I was thinking about this as I was taking a look at this PowerPoint. Before all of this happened, I would probably go and I would pull some cash out at the beginning of the week, and that was sort of my walking around money for the week. I don't think I've done that since March. It's just been all debit card or credit card and do it that way for a variety of reasons. But first and foremost, less contact. Secondly, you're not sure what the cash situation is going to be at certain businesses, so this just makes it a little bit easier.
For sure. Well, as we said, overall consumers are, using less cash. Instead, they're depending on credit cards, debit cards to make their purchases. But 26% of the consumers that, were involved in this study expect to use less cash. So, and that is fueled by everything that's going on: social distancing, concerns about touching cash, purchasing online is a big one, cash shortages. All of those things figure into, that 26%, and the fact that they have to find other ways to make their purchases. The upward trend in card spending is related to three distinct factors. 27% of consumers are expecting to use their credit or debit cards more often. And it all goes back to, again, they're making more purchases online or through apps. Mm-hmm. The credit card payments are easier to use and more convenient. It eliminates, running to the bank to get cash. It eliminates the possibility that you're going to, walk into a business and they aren't taking cash for whatever reason. Plus, consumers overall just feel cards are safer than cash right now.
Yeah, that's a very good point right now.
Contactless card payments are growing, and just for people who don't know necessarily what contactless means, that means that your credit card is equipped with a little symbol at the top of it. Usually looks similar to a Wi-Fi signal, that you simply tap onto the merchant's terminal. So there's no inserting, there's no sliding, it's tap and go. Apple Pay is another way that could, possibly be. So that in itself is what contactless card payments are. 41% of consumers are saying that they have a contactless credit or debit card. So there's lots of room to grow for merchants who aren't taking those. It's definitely something that you want to consider down the road, because they are safer and increasingly they're being increasingly used by consumers. But just in the first half of 2020, Visa issued over 80 million contactless cards. So 9 out of 10 top credit card issuers are now offering that as an option. And 55% of surveyed consumers report that they use those cards more often than their non-contactless. You look like you have a question, Doug.
I've actually got a couple. So, and I think my debit card, the most recent one I got, is a contactless one. Are you seeing more and more vendors start to up their equipment so that they can take that? Because I think that's really a big area to promote. If you're whether you're a coffee shop or a gift shop, whatever you're doing, certainly having a sign right at the checkout to be like, hey, you can just hold your card up and it'll read it is a big thing to do.
Let's put it this way. If a merchant has not done that, they need to do that. Typically that involves, a new terminal. If you currently don't take it, that it will involve a new terminal. But at International Bancard, we have easy ways to do that. Many times a merchant doesn't want to, go to that because there's an expense involved.
Right.
And, at IB, we've got loaner programs, so that eliminates that roadblock. But if merchants have not looked into this, they really need to.
And the other thing I was going to say is I know on the consumer side, when this first came around, there were security concerns that people had, but that was 1 or 2 generations ago, maybe even further. This is a very secure way to do business now, where I think maybe in the first time you were maybe susceptible to RFID readers, things like that. But just in the reading that I've done, I know that it's a very secure way to make a purchase.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think I advanced that.
Whoops.
No, oh, you know what? I hit my wrong mouse. I have too many screens running in. There we go.
There we go. Well, like we just discussed, Doug, contactless card payments are good for the business owner, particularly small to medium sized, and particularly over the holiday shopping season. Because consumers believe that contactless payments, it's a responsible way to pay. A consumer will view a merchant more favorably if they take contactless payments, and consumers are more likely to return to businesses who offer those. So those are 3 main reasons, that if you're not currently taking them, that it is something you want to consider and want to look into.
Yeah, I think that second point is really key too, where, if you've got, whether it's a mom and pop, whatever it is, if you accept that sort of modern payment standard, I definitely think you're up and up on everything else that you're doing as a business.
Absolutely. It gives the consumer confidence
in
the merchant, that they are staying on top of things, and that, they want to be up with the times, for lack of better words.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's an excellent point.
I wish this wasn't the case, but unfortunately,
I
it,
agree.
yeah, back to normal is a way off yet. Um, I think business owners probably realize this, especially retailers and restaurants. Um, we want to look forward to getting things back to normal, but consumers still feel that they can't resume their normal lifestyle full out. Um, so, and there's no gray area. They either believe they're comfortable and they're out doing it, or they're not. But 41% say they are comfortable resuming their normal lifestyle. So that's good. Downside is there's 59% who don't expect anything to go back to normal for a while yet. And 18% of that 59% aren't sure they're ever going to be able to go back to normal. So again, merchants need to be aware of that and do what they can to capture the audience in the way that the audience is coming to them.
That's a good point. Got to be up to date with and be able to reach that segment of the consumer base.
For sure, for sure. And businesses who are looking to thrive in, fourth quarter of this year, which we're already well into, and a quarter one of next year, they're going to have to acknowledge the changing landscape and do something about it. So businesses who are adopting the technologies which are in line with consumer trends are way more likely to do better business than those who don't. So, I hate to keep beating this horse, but if businesses are not currently up to speed in their processing world, they need to make that a priority. And, I hear a lot, oh, I don't want to change anything at holiday time. But now is the most important time to do that, because, a switch to a different kind of processor is not a difficult switch. I understand people don't want to change things when they're busy, but that's also the time when you can get the biggest bang for your buck and the best advantage. So now's the time, and you will then prepare yourself for a better first quarter of next year.
Absolutely.
Another way, in besides changing the way you do things is, you need to make consumers aware that you're now doing that. And that can be done on websites, through your social media, any outlet that they have to let people know that things are changing. We highly encourage that.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to step on you there, Ann, but
That's
I
okay.
think that's an interesting point just from a Chamber of Commerce perspective. We've started a new online store for some of our things that we sell here, whether it be gift certificates, things like that. And it's a different way of doing things, but it's opened it up to a whole new market. And one area where we'll implement that in 2021 is our annual sausage sale for the Agribiz Committee. Typically, that's just been a pen and paper transaction. Everything, we'll be doing that online as well now, and I think it's going to open up a huge segment of people who didn't even maybe know that was going on. Once we put that out there, and all they have to do is do a couple clicks, and they can get some sausage that's been produced here locally, they're going to do that. And I think that's you make an excellent point there.
For sure, for sure. And I think, there are some good things that are coming out of COVID. It's leading to a lot of creativity. It's leading to, I think people realize that, you can do online shopping. You can provide online ordering, and you don't have to be a huge company to do that.
No.
So it's been encouraging to me to see a lot of the local involvement in that with merchants. They've taken the bull by the horns, and they're doing things differently. So I think Finley's lucky in that aspect, for the most part. But the programs that are going to have the most impact on your business are, the contactless payments, online ordering for restaurants, online ordering for retail, online shopping, POS systems. Again, people may want to veer away from a POS system because it's different. There's a cost factor involved. But I would try to encourage people to not let that be a factor.
Mhm.
IB can help with that, and we'll do everything we can to make it as easy of a transaction as we can, and a switch. So, but e-commerce, is a big one if you have e-commerce enabled websites. And then, of course, with all of that technology comes digital marketing services and promotions.
That's
So,
almost one of the biggest keys to the whole endeavor.
yeah, it's like advertise. I used to see a sign that said advertising is like winking in the dark. If you don't advertise, nobody else knows what you're doing either. So, once once you get all of these things lined up, you have to let people know you're doing it. International Bancard is a trusted payment acceptance solutions provider. And we are 20 plus years old. This is not foreign to us. But in addition to that, we also provide other things that will help businesses grow. Among those are the online ordering. We can help with digital marketing. We have payroll services. We really want to be a partner as we move these businesses forward, not just somebody who comes in and says, well, here's a great rate on your processing, see ya.
Right.
So, as we partner up with local businesses, I'm the local face. If you've got an issue, I'm the first person you call. And if I can't help, then, we send it up the ladder there to get what we need done. But at least you've got somebody who's here in Findlay. If there's a problem, I can be with you in 10 minutes. So in most cases.
Well, it's definitely a good service to have available.
I guess the key factors that I hope people will take with them today is that while travel in that industry remains hard hit, COVID has accelerated growth in certain vertical markets. Online ordering for restaurants, pickup, curbside delivery, those things, have grown exponentially. The other thing is consumers are divided on when things are going to go back to normal. And merchants have to take that into consideration when they're trying to decide what the best way is to keep their business afloat. And then finally, COVID-19 has definitely accelerated the growth of contactless and e-commerce payments. And if you haven't jumped on that wagon, you need to do it. I cannot stress that enough.
I think I'm going to take stock of like wherever I go over the next week or so, just to see who promotes that I can just pay by doing a wave in front of their machine or not, because I think that would be something interesting to take a look at.
For sure. Yep. There are some additional resources with surveys and articles that if anybody is interested, I think you're going to send this PDF out, right, Doug?
Yes.
Okay. So there's some links there that they can, look into this a little bit further. And then obviously, I'm available for questions, concerns. Just give me a call or reach out to me via email, and we can hopefully help get things rolling.
Yeah, and actually what I'll do is people watching this will be watching on our YouTube channel. The links that you see in this PowerPoint, I will have down in below in the description of the video. So you can just scroll down and click on those. Be pretty easy to do there. And of course,
Okay.
here's contact information.
Yes, very good. There's my phone number. There's my email. I'm available, so please reach out. We'd love to help.
Well, and I appreciate your time on this today. I think it's an interesting subject to talk about, especially as we head into the holiday shopping season. Like you said, this, a lot of people might shy away from making changes this time of year, but it might be a way to really maximize your business this time of year in a time of, in a season that, and especially in 2020, where people need to maximize everything that they can. That little learning curve, which I think we want to stress is it's a little learning curve, could
Absolutely.
make a big difference.
Yep. Not only that, but it frees up time.
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody comes in there and you have 10 people in line and they're tapping and going, hey, that's just all the better for everyone involved.
You can go, well, there's a comfort level. Like we were talking about, there's people have varying degrees of comfort of going into a store or not. And if you can get in and get out and that swipe gets me out just a little bit faster and you're moving the line faster so people aren't congregating as long, that's a win. That's a victory for your
Definitely.
business right there, because people are going to talk like, hey, I was in, I was out, they were busy, I felt comfortable though. And that's huge right now.
Yep, for sure. It is.
So,
Well, thanks so much, Doug. I appreciate it. Again, if there's anything we can do to help anybody out, please contact me.
all right. Thank you, Ann, for joining us. And again, thank you for tuning in on our YouTube channel. Be sure to just subscribe to the channel. We'll be putting up more educational pieces like this over the coming weeks and putting together a pretty robust plan for material in 2021 as well. So there will be plenty more coming here. I'm Doug Jenkins with the Findlay Hancock County Chamber of Commerce.